Welcome to the EduAdvice podcast. Today, we are delighted to host Mr. Nimish Gopal, founder of CareerNaksha, an organization that has impacted more than 10 lakh students across 20 plus states through career guidance, counseling, employability, skilling, and future readiness initiatives. Through CareerNaksha, he has built a network of over 5,000 counselors across India and is working towards making quality career guidance accessible to every student, irrespective of geography, language, or socio-economic background. He has also pioneered AI-powered career counseling solutions aimed at helping students make informed career decisions. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Nimish.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Team EduAdvice, for inviting me.
Yeah. Students today have access to unlimited information online, yet career confusion seems higher than ever. Why do you think students struggle to make career decisions?
So I'll give you, the reason why students and parents are confused in making career decisions. One of the biggest reason is, a lot of information and lot of, trends. So everybody wants to follow certain trends, what is happening in the market, but nobody tries to analyze themselves and their strengths and their weaknesses to make a decision. So this is a basic fundamental flaw in career decision making process. Like what we see, what we look around, and what we hear from others, we take that information. Instead, we should look at us from within as an individual. What are our capabilities and competencies, and basis on that, we should take a decision. So self evaluation, self assessment is very, very critical and important in order to make any career decisions. And that is the reason why students and parents, they get carried away with the trends, the market information, the lot of bombardment of unbiased information, and that is one of the prime reasons of why people are unable to take decisions.
Yeah, so you mean to say students are more following traditional paths than getting to their
Yeah, so every correct. So it's like a, that mindset, Indian traditional mindset is, if we score really good marks, then we should go for science and engineering. If we, score average, then we should go for arts, humanities, right? And if we don't score at all, we should go for some kind of ITI, some kind of, traditional other pathways. So that mindset has been very deeply ingrained in the community, in the Indian culture, that is very difficult to break, and that is one of the prime reasons why we started Career Naksha.
okay. Many parents still encourage conventional careers such as engineering, medicine, or government jobs. How can parents support their children in exploring new career opportunities while ensuring long-term stability as well?
Correct. So I'll tell you, there are multiple methodologies and there are ways to make career decision, and there should be a proper openness to understanding what are the various career options available in the market. So there are 20,000 career options, right? And uh, any student or any particular person who's trying to make a decision, if he is able to do smart goal setting, he is able to do SWOT analysis, if he is able to do psychometric based analysis, if he is able to do self evaluation. So these methodologies will help him or her to understand the strengths and the weaknesses, and also where the skills are, what are the competencies, which will ultimately lead them to a pathway, and that pathway will help them to make a decision. So the first decision of a child comes generally in the 8th grade for some of the ICSC board where they have to choose between the languages, between the certain subjects, and then after 9th 10th the other decision comes, which is either choosing science stream, commerce stream, or arts humanities stream, right? And now with the new education policy, that bifurcation of streams has considerably gone zero. Like now a student of science can take a humanity subject like psychology, or a humanities student can take mathematics, right? So this notion, the stereotype notion of stream has gone down. So there is a vast availability of options for parents and students. There is huge opportunities and scope in new technologies, and I think that is how they should keep their open mind and then go for evaluation and then take a counseling session to go for the decision. So I think it will give them more information, more in unbiased information, and more information related to the student's strengths and weaknesses, which will eventually give them a better direction and decision making capability.
Yeah, in short, understanding their strengths and weaknesses in very detail would help them to choose which career actually they want.
Correct, correct.
Yeah. What are the biggest mistakes students make while choosing a career after class 10th or class 12th?
Yeah, so this, like I said, trend, looking at their peer group, parents making decision for the student, looking at the society success stories that somebody got 1 CR job after doing, bachelor's from IIT or XYZ institute. So they start making that as a example to take the decision, and that is not the right way. The right way, like you also said, understanding the strengths and weaknesses, because if there are 20,000 career options, then there are those 20,000 success stories also in those particular career options. That's number one. Second, if students are confused, so they can do exploration also. They can do internships, they can do volunteering activities, they can do certain online courses during their break, summer break. So this is a right time, like generally like during the summer break of 2 to 3 months, they can do exploration of certain activities related to career, related to subjects. They can talk to the right set of people. There are multiple people around us. If we look at the society, there are people from administration, from police, from teaching, from pharma, from construction, real estate. There are so many different new age career options. People can look up to these sort of people and understand about them. And when you talk to such people, when you read about them, you get more insights on what it takes to become that kind of a person, what it takes to be a person in that particular career. So I think exploration, talking to the right set of people, self evaluation, understanding the merits and demerits, understanding your skills and the fitment towards a particular career, that is how I think the student should make decisions.
Yeah, even I feel exploring the different opportunities is very important because now the generation of AI, sticking for something which is stable won't help them.
Right. And as the world is moving towards interdisciplinary approach, hybrid approach, so you will see people doing one field, exploring one field, simultaneously doing another field, and intermixing things. So for example, you can be an engineer plus you can be a freelancer, you can be a manager, you can explore your hobby in let's say music or arts form along with your job. So this nature of interdisciplinary approach and hybrid approach is becoming more and more popular.
Yeah. You have worked with students from both rural as well as in urban India. What common challenge do you observe across these diverse backgrounds when it comes to career planning?
Yeah, so in rural, the challenge is different, right? The conversation we just had, this is a stereotypical mindset in urban settings and the settings where, availability of information, availability of teachers, good quality education, everything, where the stereotype and the mindset is, very rigid and very traditional. But in the rural setting, the problem is different, right? In rural setting, the problem is students are not aware of the info. The awareness is lacking. Second, the access to resources and infrastructure is lacking, right? So they are not aware what can be the potential, what can be the opportunities, right? Third, which is missing in rural setting, is like the examples, right? They have seen their parents struggling either in their labor jobs or in the low paying jobs, so they do not have that exposure, they do not have that experience or somebody guiding them, this is also possible. Like, let's say you can be a scientist, you can be a a chef, or you can be a teacher, you can be a freelancer, you can be a somebody who can work in the construction area, who can work in the real estate. So those kind of information is missing for the rural, and that is the reason why students are not able to take some certain decisions. So when we work with rural schools, the approach is to provide them awareness, provide them examples, provide them the opportunities, so that the parents can also get convinced. Because most of the time in rural, parents are kind of, they become the limiting factor for the students, because what they think, parents think that their child can become a helping hand in their labor jobs, in their low paying jobs. But if the education is continued for their child, the child can flourish, can go for higher education, can become some trendsetter, and might their economical situation can become better. So the scope for a student who is studying in rural settings is tremendous.
Yeah, so as you mentioned about stereotype, so I would like to ask, was there any case where you handled with a girl student, there is much higher stereotype compared to the boy student. Then is there any kind of example which you have came across during this process?
100%. So I have hundreds of examples of girl students. So we get a lot of students and their parents to come to us asking that my child, she is very good at doing, like, let's say, home related work. She is very good at maintaining the house, so we would want her to go towards arts, humanities, and we don't think she can go towards STEM or engineering or management, because she is not that tough to handle people, not tough to do physical jobs and engineering jobs. So these kind of stereotypes are there in the society, right? And when they come to us, we what we do is we first educate them that there are success stories of girl students, there are examples now. We also help them understand the strength of the student, that the girl child has enormous potential to be able to go towards untraditional or non-traditional courses, which will reward her in the long term. And we help them to understand that long term target setting and smart goal setting. And with that understanding, parents also give that option, give that open space, and we have seen that change coming, right? It's not that it is very rigid now. At least in the urban settings, it has become very open. People have started reaching out to counselors. People have started understanding that there is a need for unbiased career decision making. There is a need to not follow the trend or the market of those coaching and such kind of behavior, because they have seen the failures, they have seen the challenges, which really in the long term not give the right result. So I think with the girl child especially, the openness has increased. The parents have started giving that option to their child, and we believe that in few more years you will see more students particularly girl students taking more bolder decision, better decisions, and becoming more successful in all 20,000 careers.
Yeah. Um, AI is transforming almost every industry. How should students prepare themselves for a future where many traditional jobs may change significantly?
Correct. So, like as an organization, we also see that AI is, really making changes to the daily routine. So today, what we used to take 10 days or 15 days, we can do that work in a single day, or let's say in few hours. So that is the beauty of AI, beauty of automation, and I think that is going to be integrated in all the industries, right? What it used to take years, now it is going to take months. What it used to take months, now it is going to be done in week or few days. So I think every student should learn how to apply AI in whatever they are learning. Number one. Number two, students should also think about, with machines there'll be a huge need of people in the humanities field, right, who are emotionally strong, who are who have intelligence, who have ability to work with people, work with machines, and having those skill sets. So I think the vocational training will become more and more important. Humanities field will become more and more important. Critical interpersonal skills, leadership skills, managing people, managing machines will become very critical. So I think students should start preparing for that future of work, and prepare themselves with the skill sets required to adopt technology, to learn technology in all the fields, in all the industries which are there in the market.
Yeah, now AI is no more a buzzword. Like it started integrating everywhere, and considering it as a friend would be very useful for the students itself.
Right, totally.
Psychometric assessment and career counseling are becoming increasingly popular. How can students and parents use these tools effectively without becoming completely dependent on them?
Right. So with the new education policy, right, 2020, even the government is becoming very aware of psychometric assessment, and they are integrating it in all the government schools, either central government schools or state government schools. So you will see a huge push of psychometric assessment, and the need is, like you said, very simple, right? Uh, the students should understand their strengths. Students should do their self evaluation. Students should do their SWOT analysis, their SMART goal settings, and I think that is why even government is spending a lot of money to impart this particular psychometric assessment in all the schools, and eventually even the private schools will start adopting it. Many top private schools in India, they do, but then the middle tier schools, the average schools, above average schools, or below average private schools, in the lower tier, I think they kind of shy away of not using it, and the reason is maybe the price, the cost, but which we have seen in the last 3 4 years after COVID, that the importance has become, is becoming more and more evident, and the adoption of psychometric assessment in the mainstream 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th standard in schools is becoming more popular. Schools are adopting, government is adopting, parents have started searching online about psychometric assessments. So we see a lot of inquiries coming on our platform. So I think uh, uh, as as we move in the next 5 years, 10 years, the importance of self evaluation, importance of psychometric assessments will become, very similar to like having education, similar to working for yourself, and for understanding your strengths and weaknesses. So it will be something like necessary. It will be without which you will not be able to make the right decision. So I think it is a good sign.
Yeah. Uh, If a student listening to this podcast feels confused about their future, what practical steps should they take over the next 6 months to gain clarity about their career path?
Very good question. So we do a scientific 3 to 4 steps process. Okay, in order to become more clearer in your career pathways or understanding what is good for yourself, the first step is to understand your environment, to understand your case, understand your case history. Right, that is the first step. Second, what are the available resources, what are the ways and methodologies to do the self evaluation. So for example, I mentioned about SWOT analysis, smart goal setting, psychometric assessment, self evaluation. So these tools will help you to understand your strengths and weaknesses. That is the second step. Third step is you should shortlist based on the psychometric, based on your case history, your environment, that these are the 3, 4, 5 options for myself. Then the fourth step is, once you have shortlisted, once you have figured out that this is what I am interested in, this is what my goals are, this is what I would want to spend my time, then in the fourth step you should start exploring and implementing certain things. For example, doing a project, doing an internship, relating it to what you are studying. So let's say if you are interested in law, so understanding how legal studies, how corporate business studies, how technical studies relate to law. So connecting it to the career, connecting what you study to the career, doing an activity, doing an internship, project, volunteering, and such activities will give you that exposure. Once you have that exposure, you can further from your 5 6 shortlisted careers, you can go to one or two which you really want to spend your time. I think this is a very holistic way of taking a decision.
Yeah, these steps will definitely help the student to understand him better and choose a correct path. And focusing more on practical learning, as you mentioned, linking them to the practical world will definitely help them reach their correct path.
Right.
What is one piece of your advice you would like every student and parent in India to remember while making career decisions?
So I think one of the most important thing through this podcast I would like to share, that students and parents should be open to finding a mentor, a counselor. Okay, you should think that connecting with a counselor or a mentor will give you an unbiased understanding about yourself, about your child, about your strengths and weakness, and taking help, taking that understanding will give you those options which might you might not know, which you were not aware, which you were getting carried away because of the trend, because of the society, because of the peer pressure. So I think connecting with a counselor, talking to a mentor will definitely help the child get understanding and the options, and following that particular scientific methodology will ultimately give the right career option to the child. And ultimately the parent will be satisfied, the child will be happy, and once they have that happiness and satisfaction, it will always lead to success in that field. So I think my simple message is to connect with a right counselor, a mentor, talk to them, understand your strengths and weaknesses, do a evaluation, follow a scientific methodology, and then take a decision which is connected to your long term goals.
Yeah, definitely it will help the student by connecting the mentor because they can't share everything with their parents. So they can openly
Yeah,
share with the mentor and help them build a proper career.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Nimish Gopal, for sharing such a valuable insights with your with our audience. Today's discussion highlighted that successful career choices are not about following trends or societal pressure, but about understanding one's strengths, interests, skills, and future opportunities. We hope this conversation helps students and parents make more informed and confident decisions about their education and career journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica, and thank you entire team at EduAdvice. And hopefully, this will add value to your channel, to your media, and hopefully, students and parents will get benefited from our session today. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.